It's pretty good. So, like,
What'd you say?
I'll do.
Oh, for him?
We all know.
It's
Always.
amazing, we went, it was so nice to get outside and it's very fun, so yeah, it's like, oh, this is right here.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of.
Then where's please? All right. I think I'll second.
A lot of
A lot of
tickets and, you
Yeah.
know,
So, yeah, you probably that, so, someone tell me, don't bother with that.
I mean, if he gets it to me by Friday, and I have like it's
Right.
Monday and Tuesday. But see, then we want to chat. For their doors, like, oh, yeah, I didn't see that, so. I'm waiting, well, it does sit, it's, it's due by Friday.
This was nice to feel. Oh, it's.
I mean, yeah, it'd probably be pretty close, yeah.
Yes.
These lodges. You do that.
Well, then, yeah, there's no way.
And then, yeah, I didn't. Well, it's all, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it comes and goes, and you don't even know that he's
I
on.
did take this one off. So anyway, I just don't want the pressure.
Get better. Well, that's a good thing to hear. I said, okay.
Yeah, if it's too late, it's just too late. It's my other issue is, I should talk to the grant writer. Name is, I'm blank now, but that's it.
Yeah.
He wants the year-end financial statements
Okay.
for, and so, the next one is already said, you know, at the end of June, the end of our year, we'll need the statements quickly. And I've traveled, I'm traveling over the Fourth of July weekend, I don't know how
Yeah.
quick it is, and
Checks
what
that,
is
right?
quickly, and when are the grants due?
Yeah.
There's a lot, they're fast.
Yeah.
When the grants due, once you really need this stuff, because
Yeah.
I'm on the third through the eighth, so, yeah, so you're not going, right? You know, my friends, like, our neighbors said, asked if you guys were going, and I said, no, I didn't think so.
Well, the last minute,
Oh, man.
Right.
Okay. John's still up at the last one in the beer hall, so it'll be a lot. Yeah, I just don't. It's very fun, so, oh, yeah, we can't wait. Have you started looking at the excursions and all that? So Bill created a spreadsheet with all of the excursions and we rated them 1 to 5, which highlighted what we signed up for, so I'm happy to share it with you. We shared it with our other friends going, and like they ended up signing up for a lot of them, we just made it easy. He did a little summary of what it was, and so we will.
Don't get it corrected.
I worked with people. While there. Yeah.
I totally. That you can manage, if it's a tour that you're on bus or there's if it's just a walking tour the town, you may want to do it on your own. And just sitting and hang out at the boat, I think there's gonna be plenty to do. There's that too.
Right.
It's great. Yes. It'll be so fun.
I'm just gonna be buying. He said, yeah.
It's interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Unexpected. And she was pretty active, like the church.
Yeah.
My next to it, I don't think this Friday,
They give you that travel or something?
Yes.
this part.
We might be able to.
Yeah.
They were saying.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Thank
Your
you.
main.
Then we went down Myrtle Beach first, and yeah. Trying to share.
It's like this, except for, you're in big. Just something going now today.
Oh.
Because you can't, you're investment.
You can order from, I feel like I probably ordered.
Yeah.
I had 6 or 7 years of shop. It was like Summerville, it's only that. That's the place to be. Yeah, drive through this person gets together.
Oh, yeah, now,
Really.
especially with kids.
Yeah.
Did you see that big wreck? A lady was coming down and was like. Had a seizure.
Oh, really?
Still going. Right, she did.
Well, you know, you're gonna put your head to the end, I'll be doing. You need to, stand out, you know, somebody will try to.
So then I got. Let me go there. Relax.
Just all these states, all counties.
Keep my eye.
No question. Don't want to stop.
Yeah, she said she got friends out there like to have in some years, because we've been going out on later. So, you know, like, needs, most, they're like that.
Yeah. Be there.
This guy walked.
I ran. There, junior, the JC's. What's following behind it? What's following behind it? No, he's first place. He's on, Which hospital? Riverside. That's right, my knee's not.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that
so glad I did.
your kids are old enough, they would appreciate all that.
Yeah, they took them.
Yeah.
They both. Hi, Joe. Guys, we're two good first people.
I ordered a batch of Rotary pins. I thought they should have pins.
Sure.
And I mentioned it to Megan. What's the best way to get them to them?
Megan said that. You know that bunch of ones. Very much is already done, so, okay. Julie, you were up here. She told you that. Or looked at it.
Did that? All our.
No. Yeah. I do, how are you? So passionate to do that.
I can ask Jackie,
Yeah.
like, when do you guys have stones so I can,
Yeah.
you know, get Megan?
Only son, and then this.
Kind of
And a lot, yeah, the whole lot.
officially make you Rotarians.
Is Lisa her, you that?
Yes. Well, no, Lisa wasn't here.
Yeah, it's in the box.
She has, it's in the box.
It's a show.
He says in Lauren.
Natural resources covers Supreme Court.
Yes.
Maybe, but.
Yes.
Services.
For Mongolian.
Yes, she's earned her back.
Oh, I wasn't trying to get natural services. Oh, you need it. Yeah, no, he knows. Natural resources.
But you're doing the,
Your
legal stuff.
lawyers.
I think she also had Jim here about his
I know.
If they wanna help.
Yeah, I don't think it's available on call.
Okay.
Just so.
Well, I won't be there then.
He's on mission, you know.
Yes,
No, I have some. people.
yes, they were, that was very helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much time do you, want?
I need to know what that.
My friends.
Huh?
We have friends that had heard about it from other neighbors that were there.
We've
Why didn't you let
allocated
us know?
most of the day to you and your subjects, and I can,
What do you think?
Very said.
we can come up with another agency downtown that we would like them to deal with the governance
Yeah,
ideas, that we might get them involved with, I
yeah.
tried to get Matt Teaberry, but he's really busy this week somehow, I guess.
Imagine, yeah.
Budgets. So he turned me down. I thought, I think I'm lieutenant,
See if these.
because, you know, his thing is dealing with international trade
Saying that.
relationship with Ohio.
Serving template, you know, inserting, maybe go up.
So I didn't know what other legal
Yeah,
subjects might be,
It's a good first year.
in order, take a half a day or
Well, they
too
could,
long.
yeah.
see the Ohio Supreme Court,
Plus you want to go.
Capitol, sit down, female lawyers.
That's.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
Right about it, that's.
I don't. I'm here. Good. Don't let your fucking phone ring, okay?
Another break.
Oh, thank you. Visited them. Almost every hour. Slovenly heaters up here.
Hi, Bonnie.
Well, the only open item for me then for you is,
And any big trips.
what can I put on my? I'm gonna be here Friday and the subjects are gonna be such and such. And how much
Okay.
time do you want? Go from 9 to 12, 9 to 3?
What else is gonna be there, so I know? You're on all day. Okay.
You can be on all day, but you know, maybe it's a walk to Ohio State. I've got, Dave, Lincoln's there, but I thought, well, you can think about the Highlands. Show them the early history of our country. I think that'd be neat. But I've got there, just in case there's an interest by those people that Dave, you could say, hey, from 3 o'clock until 6 or dinner.
I like you for.
We could take you to a shopping mall, we could take you to the Ohio Historical Society. We could take you to.
I came out the other day, found that like it did, and
We have, these two are going here, these two are going.
Okay.
That's the flex piece of that.
You living here in Hamburg?
Would you like to? Or would you be able to, like, with, house?
I have a full of people.
You to take two of them, all of a sudden it's getting complicated there, and if you can find two other spots. Be like,
Yeah, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be out of town, the very inconvenient, everybody. I said, I'm gonna be out of town. Like to really help us.
yeah.
You went back for the.
What would that be? So I said, yes.
Yeah. No, I didn't do it after the run day. Now we're reading about.
So.
Saturday. Great.
Well, I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll probably be back if I'm ready for that.
Right, I got to get one as far as this is gonna happen. Oh, like that?
Well, I'm introducing, as an expression of our freedom to do this, even allow, or we don't allow, just there. And he wouldn't be violent. This is what you see. And like people, people's money outfits.
That's hypothetical. Yeah, it does.
Hey, Paul? Yes. You were on my list and then it got filled up. But we've got some Mongolian. Interest in posting them for a couple of nights. When is it? Six.
Public already here, I can with you there. Oh, thank you.
Possibly gonna be. I'm just gonna go out that week.
If you go down there, yeah, climb ladder.
Keep me on the list.
All my money.
No, we don't have that.
No, we'll say probably a chef. Takes out of the chef. So we got two. And six,
Okay, good.
yeah. It's gotta have 20 minutes interacting. And four, just a pass high. You get it down with that. Be some
Hello, Bonnie. Well. I'll figure out.
They're there. The families requested to. Out that you're that. They've expressed interest. They've gone. Here's your schedule. We're taking them all these places. And make triggers for conversation. He's not down.
How are you? Great. How are you? Hey, Dave. Nice to see you.
Yeah. It's like a double. No, I'm just gonna wait, cutting the grass 3 times. Probably the last thing, just around, like, back up there. That's my next door neighbor, but I still have. He's got a handyman, and has 1,000. I can do it, but I don't want to insult him.
Right. He's in wrapped out, but yeah, I would like to thank you. Read. Joe. It's not often they do to the term. Oh, yeah. I sent you an email. I sent you an email. I wish he used by that. Yes. Like I said, I can't be the chairman. And then you said, the continuation here, I've never been chairman. Look, I know. Program. Yeah, but. Well, I did want you guys before we. I think I can.
Yeah, no.
That's.
After the first. And I say.
I want to help them. The calendar. The calendar.
Yeah.
How are you? Thank you. Good.
How are you doing? If a special station. Yeah. Oh, I said no. It's close. Just not trying hard. I do. But I, well, I ate mine already. Yeah.
And I can discuss, it helps, but.
I know what you mean though, but I like. You gotta whisper sometimes up. Testing. It's 40. I tried it. It said testing and nothing's happening. Oh, it's just back instead. I can shout loud enough. Okay, let's get started. I can shout while Steve's getting me a new microphone. As a reminder, please silence your cell phones for guests and visitors. My name is Jim Farmer, and I'm president of this club. I'd like to welcome you to the 24th meeting of the 50th year of the Dublin-Worthington Rotary Club. Our invocation and pledge today will be offered by Pete Barnhart.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, thank you for looking over this world and all the distress that's going on. Let there be and come to an end skirmishes and war in Gaza, Ukraine, Syria, and all the other places going on throughout this world. Let's make sure that 1.25 million Rotarians continue to help those in need of food, medicines, care, and friendship. Each of us has a mission in life to help where we can. That's all of us Rotarians, Dublin Worthington Rotary, continue to do that. We thank the staff here at Brookdale for the delicious food, and for those who prepared it, we thank you. And we ask for the blessings of this Rotary Club. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're still not working, okay. Visitors and guests should be introduced by Joe. I think we have a couple in the room, maybe?
We do. We are joined by Mr. Luke Yorick today. How are you? And Jennifer's husband, Bo is with us today. I don't think I mentioned anybody else. Is that-
Does her husband have a name?
Bill?
Bill. Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Mr.
Best.
Okay. All right, thank you. All right, anyone with announcements, please proceed to the front here at this point.
I can't be the only one, but apparently I'm the first one. Thank you for all who have responded to work the Worthington Arts Festival. We still need some more. I forgot to check this morning. Need more on Sunday mostly. I will send out the sheet again to anybody who may have missed it. Thank you.
I just wanted to report that our final profit from the raise comes to $4,500. So we're there. And mark your calendars for July 23rd. Of that meeting, we have a guest, two guests, Arthur G. James Cancer Center. Arthur G. James's son and grandson will be here speaking about their dad, how the James came about, and an update on what's going on at the James. So
Is that date correct? Aren't they coming the first week in July?
I gotta look at her.
Cause I thought we had the international scheduled for the 23rd.
That's what I had on here all 27.
Ooh, okay. Well,
We'll see you.
let me know, Lisa.
We'll see. Hey, thanks.
Okay, we're talking about Mongolia. They're coming to our club in about 3 or 4 weeks. July or June 26th to the 30th. They're gonna be staying here in Worthington, and then the other 3 weeks they'll be at various Rotary clubs in District 6690. You know, the purpose of NGSE is to learn about and have contact with people from other countries. So we there send 5 of our people, Rotarians, non-Rotarians, to another selected country. And they in turn, in this case, in Mongolia, and Mongolia's got some very interesting, you know, they're out in the middle of Japan and China and Russia and all that twirl. They're kind of the center of that. Tim's gonna talk to you here in a minute about who's coming and who you might want to meet up with. And my part there, we're trying to schedule them for things to do that are vocational. During the time they're gonna be here, they're gonna be seeing children's services. They're gonna be working with Joe on legal issues. So they got a couple of lawyers there. We're gonna talk about trust or how do we get along with others in the world. We're gonna also have some fun with them. We're gonna have a rah-rah on Saturday. And you all are invited to come out Saturday. And the Mongolians, I think, have agreed that we're gonna have them cook. they'll be cooking some.
That's the last Saturday
Yeah.
in the month. I think that's the 28th. And it's at the party center at, yeah,
Yeah.
where you
Dave
and Dave live.
and Chrissy.
And thank you.
That's right.
And the Mongolians certainly have finally responded, that they're gonna be delighted to cook some dishes for us. In addition to some of the patriotic fare we're gonna put up for Independence Day.
You mentioned patriotic, we're trying to get a theme so they get an idea of our July 4th. There's a twist there that we're gonna take them to the Comfest on Sunday. And basically, and there's people say, well, why? Basically, I'm gonna introduce that as to give you an example of freedom. Here, people that are on the other side get to gather, and there's no, you might see a policeman there arresting somebody with hashish or something like that, but.
Or no shirt.
Or no shirt.
They don't.
So I'm inviting you all, I could use two people for hosting. We have them, but we'd like to readjust that part of it. So if somebody wants to do that for those 4 days, that'd be neat. Then I'd like to have a couple of people say, hey, I'd like to on Wednesday or Thursday be available for chaperoning. And I've got my car and I can take 3 people to wherever you want. You get to sit in the session if we're in the State House with the Supreme Court. You get to listen to the exchange between the Mongolians and us. I have Jim here, Dave is another, and Joe, we're kind of in the mix of this stuff. I think Tim, you've got a couple things you wanna throw out.
Yeah, well, as many of you know, it's been a long haul. Working with the Mongolians on the other side of the planet. Kind of COVID interrupted us, some years ago, but I'm delighted to tell you that the global grant, with great thanks to, Dave Hansen and Dave Kittredge, who's not here, the global grant is being reviewed favorably in Evanston as we speak. That's gonna be a pilot program in 5 schools in Mongolia. We got lots of PR for Rotary and our club and our district. And counsel that I've gotten from, no less than, the immediate past president of Rotary International said, Tim, you guys should start to think about the next grant, which would be a nationwide project. And also working with, as some of you know, Tom Carlisi. I guess I'm stealing Darnell's thunder. Darnell and I, and Jim are on the, Peace Committee. But we are now 100% Peace Clubs in this district, which is the only place you guys in the world, 6690. It's a big deal. And interestingly, the connection is not only is Tom Carlisi doing stuff in the British Virgin Islands, but we've now made some connections with a Rotarian in the Southern Caribbean, which is the next district. And the connect the dots is we started making connections in Mongolia a long time ago. So when the Mongolians are here, one of the ladies is a social worker who works with foster care, which is why we've arranged for them to visit Franklin County Children's Services. Another couple are attorneys, one of whom is a mergers and acquisitions attorney.
Attorneys in Rotary?
Go figure. Only one per club, right? But
Especially.
Joe, we're really looking to how that evolves. Jim, I think you're probably not in town for that, is that right?
That is right, unfortunately, yeah.
We'll try to make do without you, buddy. Another couple of the guests are pretty high ranking corporate people in UB, the capital, so they're gonna be interested in talking to folks. And in short, I hope,
anybody that can join us on Saturday, the 28th at Village Charmant will do so. We're gonna be 4:30. I think it's 4:30.
For the presentation, yeah.
Thank you. And these people are a little, generally the NGSC is 21 to 45. These 5 are more in the 40 to 55. So they're more our age, and so they're not gonna be jumping around.
Is it the truth? Is it?
Right down the list. Okay, very briefly, Community Service Committee, after a very busy May, and thanks to all of you who participated in one or more than one of our 3 projects in May. We'll have a meeting of the Community Service Committee on June 16th at 6:30 PM at Jerry's house. Thank you.
No microphone, so I'll try to speak up because this is your last chance. You business owners, you need to see me for $750 so we can prominently display your logo at the events that this club has. And for those of you who do not own a business, just tell me whether you want to donate 100 or 150. If you do 100, I'm going to put your name on one event. If you do 150, I'll put your name on all the events. Thank you.
Let's make some noise for Lisa Federico. Come on, Lisa. Lisa needs no introduction. She has been a rock for this club, helping with programs, night at the races, membership, everything. She's tremendous, and lately I've been a year late and $1,000 short, but we got her blue badge, so I'm happy for you. Okay, just a few more announcements I've got. First of all, after 30 years of being in this club, I'm proud to announce that we finally have a centerfold model in a magazine, a major international magazine. And that would be Mr. Dave Hansen. If you haven't seen this month's Rotarian, please check it out. It's in there. Secondly, it's my pleasure to announce today, we have selected all of our award winners for this year. They will be awarded officially at the installation banquet. I hope you're all there to see that, but I'm required by law to announce them in advance, so here goes. I'm going to start with the Avenues of Service Awards. These are awards that it's kind of hard to describe, but if you have to excel in 2 different areas of Avenues of Service for the club, and then we can nominate you. It goes through district and international recognition. But there are 3 people who really stood out for us in this regard. First of all, Harry Pookie Martin and Charlie Vesti, who set up everything every week for us. Thank you so much for that. And also participate in virtually every single project that we have. And last but not least in this category, a person who took it upon herself because I refused to help her to do something this year that's really difficult to do, which is to create a whole new project for us. And Peggy Murgatroyd is responsible for creating the United Nations. Thank you, Peggy. Next is the Rookie of the Year. We decided that we wanted to award this to one of the oldest people in the club, and so we have the oldest Rookie of the Year ever, Scott Lawrence. Scott, where are you? And I'll get to the Rotarian of the Year in a moment, but first I want to talk about the President's Award, which was really difficult to pick. There are a lot of people. I'm supposed to pick somebody who really supported me during the year, and there's so many people that I could thank in that regard. There are a lot of runner-ups. Before I get to the winner, I want to talk about one of those runner-ups, which who basically we pay Jennifer to do a job for us, but we don't pay her enough. And she does so much more than what we pay her for, but I want to assure you we're not going to pay you anymore. But the President's Award goes to a man who is really looking over my shoulder all the time, looking over everybody's shoulder. He takes it upon himself to really get involved in everything this club does. To the extent that in a recent board meeting, he took it upon himself to point out to the president that the question that the president had just asked could have been answered if the president had ever read our policies. But all kidding aside, I could not do this job. I don't think anybody could do this job without Jerry Katz. And finally, the Rotarian of the Year, who was an obvious choice for us, somebody who spent not only countless hours arranging our programs for us every week, but also countless hours on the Night of the Races Committee, a person we are deeply indebted to for all she's done this year, Lisa Federico. Thank you. And to cap it all off, all these winners have donated their actual, in lieu of getting a plaque or something from us, they've donated a total of, I believe, it's $350 to our foundation. So let's thank them for that as well. Okay, that brings us to our sergeant today. Mr. Alan Grossman, I should say.
Hi, everybody. I wasn't very good at selecting a pot carrier, so I think Doug Southgate will do it because he won't be here very much longer.
Yeah, that's cool.
Seems appropriate, right? How about happy dollars? Anybody happy today? I can tell. Now,
This past Monday, Carmen and I celebrated, our anniversary. 50 years.
Thank you for her. Well done. Well done. Who else? Peggy.
Our grandson is captain in the Air Force, just completed 6 months of training, for, it's like Top Gun, it's, ammunition, Top Gun. Yay! And, so we're real proud of him. He's been away from home for 6 months, so on the 11th, he'll have, the ball in his pinning, so we'll.
Nice.
It's great.
Very good. Frank.
George Norris had a new hip put in this morning. He's in recovery, doing real well. I just want to let you know, he's down at Riverside and, he's coming through there.
That's fine, but you still got paid.
Edie would be here today, but she went to Minneapolis for a week last Tuesday. And yesterday she flew with her middle daughter from Minneapolis to her husband. Guys in Oregon. Her oldest daughter, where her youngest daughter lived, her daughter. And her oldest daughter out of San Francisco and her husband joined. And I had the pleasure of being sung happy birthday last evening when they called me, and the 7 of them sang happy birthday yesterday on my 81st birthday. Thank you, Keith.
I have 2 happy dollars. One is because Robin Stewart, our new member, is excelling just like she does as city manager. This is her 2nd meeting in a row. She's been to a rah-rah and she's been to a service. She's excelled all past city managers. The other one is for, I think Jim referred to it, I submitted a photo to the Rotary magazine photo contest of Dave and a member of the Santiago Club, Morris Taya, and it was selected as the winner in the national competition for a Rotary picture. So.
Okay.
The alma mater of a number of people in this room, the Thomas Worthington baseball team made it to a regional final last night. Unfortunately, they lost. Our son's alma mater, Worthington Kilbourne, is in the semifinal lacrosse game tonight.
Who else is happy? Jared.
He's been standing up forever.
Yeah, I'll just not be happy.
I couldn't tell because you were standing up.
I'm never standing up unless I'm either giving an announcement or.
That's right, you wanna, yeah, give your $50.
Yeah, all right. I'll be seated then. First $50 because, Romero is arranging for my wife and I wonderful trips to the UK in September, so.
Alright.
And the second one, just to elaborate on a couple of the, one announcement, and one $50. We do have 2 stars that were, mentioned in the latest Rotary International publication in connection with that picture. One is Nick Hansen, who was in the picture, and the other, of course, is John Butterfield, who took the picture. So they were both mentioned in Rotary International magazine. I think that's outstanding.
That's great. I've got $2 as well.
There you go.
We
Looks
have
like you have
7
3.
grandchildren, and one of them was just appointed, accepted, I guess is the right word, to air traffic control school, where he will become, hopefully, an air traffic controller. But I say that with, I'm not sure I want it to be, because it's too high stress. But there's $1 for his success. The salary, I don't know about the salary. The second $1 I have is because I don't know how any of us could be more proud of our club and our district. We had the first impact club in the state. We had the first 100% peace club, yeah, peace club as part of the district. You know, the rest of Rotary ought to be looking to Central Ohio and our club in particular, frankly, because we know what to do and we do. So sign up for my.
Oh, that's the south side of here.
Steve,
And we never have any fun.
I've got $2 happy. My daughter is taking in the tradition of my wife, which like her birthday now lasts like 8 or 9 days. Yeah, first is May 27th. And then my other happy dollar, and you guys might not be happy about this, is we are moving our office from where it is now Worthington over to Metro Place in Dublin, and it's gonna be a lot more space for us, and we're really excited.
nice. Anybody else happy? Anybody that does not have their pin on today, I know we give everybody one when they join, please throw $1 in this bucket, and I'm proud to say that y'all have your name tags on, which is highly unusual, but there's no fines there. There's some people that have pants that don't quite go all the way to the floor. And so if you're in that category, please be good enough to put $1 in this bucket as it comes around. And then I was very confused during the announcements, because for a minute I saw some people nodding off, and I was sort of thinking that the NGS people were doing the presentation for today, but it wasn't. So for that amount of time, y'all get to throw a bucket. If you did not attend the Night of the Races, which was a fantastic event, please add $1. We're supposed to be participating in this stuff, not paying for it. So these are good reasons to pay up, right? And then, yeah, NGSC has a RARA. Wynn said that, and they've been asking for like decades for you to sign up for it. So if you haven't signed up for it yet, please add $1 to the pot. As well, if you did not participate in the Habitat project that was just a few days ago, that's a good one as well. And then Charlie's dying to get people to help with the arts festival, so either sign up or put $1 in for that one as well. Now, today is, who's got a cat? Anybody else got cats? Did you hug your cat today?
Yes.
Okay, if you didn't hug your cat, because today is National Hug Your Cat Day, please put $1 in. And if you don't have a cat, you're smart, so you could put $1 in too.
Sergeant, I'm available.
Being
Because my name is Cat.
so if you didn't know it already, today is National Cognac Day, so if you haven't had any cognac yet today, you should put $1 in. And then if you have not had any cheese since today is National Cheese Day, you should put $1 in for that as well. Finally, who here can tell me where fingers grow?
Or what?
Fingers grow. Yeah,
On your hand.
on palm trees.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, as many of you know, our speaker today was supposed to be Ursula Allen, and unfortunately, I got a 7 o'clock email that Ursula has apparently taken ill today. So luckily for us, we have a substitute, Mr. Doug Southgate, the OSU Agricultural Economics Professor Emeritus. That's a mouthful, but that's what he is going to talk to us about reversing deforestation.
Oh,
So-
that, we didn't agree on.
We didn't? So Doug needs no further introduction, so I'm not gonna give him one.
Yeah. So Jim called up, I mean, first of all, I apologize to those of you who are expecting Ursula's presentation, which I'm sure would be fascinating. I think she was born on the same day when Operation Barbarossa kicked off in Berlin. I think that's true, anyway. And so her presentation is something to look forward to. So Jim contacted me, I read your email, what, 7:30? So, and of course I got busy preparing and so forth. Not, I can't tell you how many presentations I gave at Ohio State with no preparation whatsoever. That's true of today's. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna take a quick tour of Latin America. It's sort of gonna cover the Western Hemisphere, even the United States a little bit. Since we're sort of on our way to becoming Latin America anyway, but in some not very good ways of that. But I'll start in the Caribbean, we'll go around, and then we'll end up in North America. I hope to save time. Not too much time left, thanks to the GSE crew, but I hope I can say something relevant to North America at the end. That's where we'll end up. But start in the Caribbean. And this is a combination of economics and political trends and so forth. Let's start with one of the happier stories in the region, which is the Dominican Republic, which has consistently over decades had the fastest growth rate, growth in GDP per capita, average living standards. And this is a country, I haven't worked there as much as Dave Hansen, but I remember being told in the Dominican Republic how in the early 1960s, most Dominicans in the countryside didn't have shoes, and then they got shoes and they graduated to mopeds, and now they're into cars, so it's visible to see the progress of that country. On the other side of the island, Haiti, that is one place I have not been. I've worked in 15 Latin American and Caribbean countries and analyzing projects, that sort of thing. But I have seen it. You can see the boundary between the two countries. So Haiti is unfortunate because it's on the leeward side of the island. It does not get much precipitation, and it has also been picked clean. I remember talking to someone at the Inter-American Development Bank who said that Haitians in the countryside rely on wood fuel, and as of the mid-'80s, 40 years ago, they were down to picking up pieces of wood of this diameter. So it's a very advanced situation, state of deterioration in Haiti. By the way, so I'm an economist. Economists we're all, a little bit on the spectrum, and we're not very polite. So if you have questions as we go along, that's what we do in economics. So feel free. Haiti, Cuba, what a dump. I won't use Trump's term for the country, but the communists, this is basically a police state. The East German Stasi trained the DINA, that's the Cuban Secret Service. They trained them very, very well. And so they have run that country into the ground. The solution for the DINA was in effect to take over Venezuela. So when Hugo Chavez, the late Caudillo or strongman was, is that mine? Well, I just have to wait. The Cuban intelligence agents ran Venezuela and ran it into the ground, and so that gives me a chance. And Cuba's a dump. This is a place, the energy supply is, electricity supply is totally falling apart. 3-day blackouts, that sort of thing. And then Jennifer, you went there. It's in an advanced state of disrepair. It's so bad that even the Hollywood celebrities stay away. You know, so a bad place to go slumming evidently. That's another place I have not been. I actually was going to consult there, back in the nineties, and then they found out I voted for Newt Gingrich or something, so they said, no, you can't go. So, down to Venezuela, this is a place that experienced 1,000,000% inflation in 2018. It's a country that has fallen apart, completely. It is another, if Haiti is a nightmare republic, as the novelist Graham Greene called it, Venezuela is the ultimate gangster republic. So they're still getting something from oil. One of the interesting interplays recently is that my company used to consult for is Chevron. Chevron has been arguing for a softer line during the Trump administration, also during the Biden administration, a softer line for Venezuela. And that's because they still have rights to drill for oil in Venezuela. Anyway, their oil production has collapsed. They're into drugs, all sorts of criminal activities, and so forth. And the economy that year 2018, when they had virtually uncountable inflation, something like 7 million people, a quarter of the country's population left. That's by design, by the way. Same thing happened in Cuba in the early 1960s. Middle class professional people, of which there were many in Cuba, left. Castro called them gusanos, worms, and so forth. But that's for the purpose. These are the sort of people, if there's going to be an opposition in the country, they're going to be in. So Venezuela is a mess. It's so many people have left, and also prisons have been emptied out, and so forth. And it's actually a much safer place than it used to be. It used to be crime-ridden, but evidently you don't have to worry too much walking around Caracas. So that's sort of not a good thing. It's a bad thing, the reason why. So that's Venezuela. Brazil. It says Brazil is the vision of, I made a wisecrack and it didn't get many laughs. The United States becoming like Latin America. In a way, if we follow Trump's ideas, some of them, we'll end up like Brazil. Brazil, among the leading countries of the world, has some of the most sustained and extreme protectionism in the world. And so it does have industry that primarily serves a domestic market. It's a big domestic market. It's nearly 200 million people in Brazil, but it's not a competitive industry. The Brazilians always point to their executive jets. I'm sure, if you've flown American Eagle, you've flown on a Brazilian product. I don't mean to worry you or anything, they're good products, but that's about it in terms of their major industrial exports. And the Brazilian economy is just chronically underperforming. I'll never forget the day I was visiting the country and my host, who's at a university, my host looked up at the flag, big, beautiful flag, green and yellow. I'm from the University of Oregon. I kind of like that, and so there is a Brazilian flag and it has the country's motto, Ordem e Progresso. And that means order and progress. And this guy said, if only. So Brazil, as they say, as the Brazilians themselves say, Brazil is the country of the future and always shall be. So, yeah,
But what about Brazilian agriculture?
oh, yeah, it's a world beater, absolute world beater. And that's a country that invested in agricultural research, developed a soybean variety that does well in hot tropical acidic soils, basically in their savanna type region. And Brazil is now the leading soybean exporter in the world, having overtaken us. So there are, there's a basic gap in Latin America between the South American nations that are all commodity exporters, with the exception of those jump plants. Right? So Brazil these days, traditionally, sugar and coffee. That was a very interesting transition from sugar to coffee as the mainstay of the economy back in the 1800s. but more recently soybeans, and it is also the second, it has not overtaken the United States in corn production. Never will, but it's the second in the world. In part because of our own protectionist policies, the ethanol mandates and subsidies and so forth, that has taken corn out of, corn that otherwise would have been exported. So other countries have depended on the Brazilians and the Argentinians. And so having mentioned Argentina, let me move there. So this is Argentina has a flamboyant president, but Milei, going back to Brazil, sorry, we're going, I don't know, this is clockwise, yeah, this is clockwise, we're going around. President of Brazil is Lula. All the really famous people in Brazil, like their soccer players, are just one name individuals. So like Pelé, right? And same with Lula. So Lula actually, that's a nickname for someone named Luis. I do love speaking Brazil, Portuguese. Now, and while I'm at a break, I'm going to teach you my favorite word in Portuguese that the Brazilians all use all the time. And this is a word evidently that won't apply to our GSE group. It would be unfair, they're too young. It's a word called idoso. So an idoso, that is basically the Portuguese translation of alta cara, if you know Yiddish. Old guy. And so I'm sorry to say that many of us in this room qualify as idosos. Yeah. Not Ms. Stewart, by the way, but nor Ms. Federico, but well, and then, but Lula, the president of Brazil, is an idoso. He's lucky he's not in jail. They struck him from that. And he was president before, and he's always been a radical leftist. He's something unique among leftists in the world, which is that he actually came from the working class. You look at leftist leaders, Castro, Lenin, and so forth. Any one of a number of university presidents in the United States, all these radical leaders, they have middle class backgrounds, like the current interim president of Columbia University, right? Who's a graduate of Worthington Schools. She's disgraceful, Claire Shipman, won't crack down on the anti-Semites, but anyway, she's ours nevertheless. But they all come through. Claire Shipman's father was a law professor at Ohio State. Lula actually is from the working class. He had no more than 5 years of formal education, worked as a sheet metal worker. He's missing one of his fingers because he was in an industrial accident. So I sort of like him. And his first term as president wasn't so bad because the country had a recent experience with hyperinflation, inflation of more than 2,000% a year. Not hyperinflation like Venezuela in 2018, but pretty bad. And nobody who goes through that wants to repeat it. So even among conservative economists such as myself, there was sort of surprising satisfaction at Lula's first presidency. The second one, he's back to form, and he's a BRIC ally. He's into the BRICS. You're familiar with that term, the R and the B, and that stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and then the S is South Africa. Yeah, Tim.
Did you read that article about Lula in the New Yorker?
No. I like Trump. I can't read him.
Just pictures.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, it was long and it was tedious.
Oh, yeah.
But it talked about the guy from the judiciary.
Oh, yeah, it's crowdy. It's this bad. Well,
You know anything about that guy?
I don't know anything about that guy. Well, we're going to return to this subject. It's subject to the judiciary when we get to Mexico, because there's an awful development there. We have something. Trump is not the sturdiest defender of our tradition of an independent judiciary, right? But Latin American leaders tend to be much worse, among whom is Lula. I don't know what the New Yorker. That's the limited version of the story that I could give you. It's politicized judiciary, and now they're trying to, as I say in Texas, they're trying to throw Bolsonaro, Lula's predecessor, in jail. Anyway, Argentina, very interesting case. Argentina is, if anything, a country that has made Brazil's long-term performance, economic performance look good. Until the current president, Milei, and you might have seen him. He's the guy with the wild hair, occasionally wields a chainsaw, that sort of thing. He is conservative, but of a libertarian variety. That means he is in favor of free trade. He is definitely not a protectionist sort of thing that has gotten Brazil and evidently now us into trouble. And then he is also, the point of his chainsaw is that, so he's not one of these people who believe that the budget needs a scalpel treatment. He thinks it needs a chainsaw treatment, and he's right. And most Argentines agree with him. There has been an adjustment, always is an adjustment when you've had irresponsible macroeconomic mismanagement for a long, long time. But Argentina, which is a very educated country, their literacy levels, other indicators of education are better than ours. Historically, it was a middle-class country. But, you know, they've cut spending in a serious way and, you know, thrown out public sector workers, that sort of thing. But it has brought inflation down, for which he has won a lot of support. So he polls well over 50%. An instructive case. So that's Milei. Now, I'm going to run quickly through the three of the four Pacific Coast countries in South America. These are in turn Chile, Peru, and Colombia. These are all countries that had center-right governments, good economic track records for 20, 25 years until COVID hit. And then they had the COVID hit, and then they had elections. And COVID was devastating. Oh man. I've told you before, I'm going to say it again. When an economist says something is going to be short and clear, he's lying at least once. So that's happened today. So, thing about COVID, these were countries that didn't have the resources to deal with it the way that we did, for example. And so there were amazing restrictions. Old people, idosos, I'll use that. I love that. So idosos were instructed to stay inside their homes, only go out a couple times a week for shopping, for very limited shopping trips, that sort of thing. And you got to understand, in most Latin American cities, as in most European cities, people live in apartments. So people weren't able to walk on the grass, that sort of thing. For more than a year, that was one of the things that frustrated people to go in, and they were in a mood to throw the bums out. Well, it just so happened that hard left candidates won, and this is very out of step with those countries' respective recent histories. They swung left. So former, maybe not so former student activist, a guy still in his 30s, a fellow named Boric. If you're puzzled by that name, that's a Croatian or Dalmatian name. Boric won there. Next country up was Peru, and I can't tell you the order of the elections, but Peru might have gone first. Castillo, he was a rural school teacher, a member of the teachers union, which in Peru, as in my wife's country and other places, is a Maoist union. Yeah, as in Mao Zedong. So these are not parlor socialists. These are serious Marxists. Well, he won in Peru narrowly, and then a real honest to goodness former terrorist from the 1980s, a fellow named Petro, won in Colombia, and in part they were fortunate with their opponents as always, and but they've taken over, and all of them. Well, Castillo was driven from office in about 9 months. So he sort of knew he was on his way out, and he and his family were stealing. They tossed him out. And Boric, Chile became a member of the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD. This is a rich countries club back in 2010, and that reflects how the country is economically successful with good institutions and so forth, and even low crime. Well, Boric is in trouble because their crime, though not high by Latin American levels, is up. And so that it's one of many complaints that Chileans have about Boric. The front runner for next year's election is a center-right woman, and her opponent is farther to the right. Peru is going to go right, and Colombia. I'm sorry, I don't have more time for that. Don't have time for Central America. Let's go up to, Mexico, United States, and Canada. And, Mexico, I have to say, so there's a left-wing candidate there, but when it was a comparison between Claudia Sheinbaum, this is one, I think her father was a Holocaust refugee from Latvia, and mother from a Sephardic family from Bulgaria. When we were looking at Claudia Sheinbaum versus Justin Trudeau, that was not a good comparison for Justin Trudeau. You know, he was pitiful. Claudia has handled Trump very well. I was talking to my wife about it several weeks ago. And she said, well, of course, normally she has to deal with Mexican politicians. So, Trump isn't so bad at all. But she's been affected. The problem is, Mexico has reinstated what started to be dismantled during the 1990s and then continued to be dismantled after the turn of the century, which was the longest surviving single party state in the world. So the Bolsheviks gave up the ghost in Soviet Russia in 1992. The party of the institutionalized revolution, the PRI, took over a little after the Bolsheviks did, but they survived into the 1990s. So there was a lot larger, the longest serving party. So single party state. But they broke up. One of the critical reforms there, one of many reforms was to have an honest electoral commission. Right. Well, now, particularly under Claudio's predecessor, a fellow known by his initials, AMLO, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador, and a little cultural awareness here. Drives Hansen crazy, drives me crazy when we hear people want to use just a single last name for AMLO. They say Mr. Obrador. It is Mr. Lopez. So what happens in Spanish is that you have two last names. First comes your father's last name and then your mother's last name. And if you're only going to be referred to by one, you take your father's. So if you want to refer to him by a single last name, it should be Lopez. Anyway, AMLO dismantled the Independent Electoral Commission. He consolidated power, and the process of going back to a single party state is largely consolidated in Mexico. The latest blow, well, they're going through it right now. They decided, or they have most Mexicans talked into the idea that judiciary is corrupt. And so all of them should be elected. So it was a clean sweep. They dismissed all the federal, state, local judges. Every mother's son of them were gone. And then they sent people to the polling booths to select their replacement all at once, just about. Now, how many of you read carefully and deliberate over these judicial races? Let's have a hand. You raise your hand, you're gonna get fined. It's gonna be fine. Same with Mexico. So the turnout on this vote was 13%. So only 13% of Mexicans even bothered to show up. But now they have a totally politicized judiciary. The big secret of AMLO's and Claudia Sheinbaum's success is they just opened up the spigot. So everybody of a certain age, even if they didn't contribute a peso to the country's social security system, is now going to get a pension. So people like that. And then the big thing is, I hesitate to mention this in case there are any Bernie Sanders supporters in this talk. I suppose not. The big thing is to hike the minimum wage substantially. And I was wondering, how do they do that? Well, one reason they could get away with that is that if it causes unemployment in the way minimum wage laws usually do, gosh, what did they do with those extra workers in Mexico? Where are they gonna go? I just saw them over my neighbor's roof this morning. So they have that bent in for the downside of that policy, but also Mexico's what's known as a corporate state. In a way, sort of tracing back to Mussolini's Italy, where, you know, it's not thorough socialism, but the government controls everything. It controls the labor unions, the major corporations and so forth. And so the Mexican government can dictate, you know, you will pay that much. Well, ordinary Mexicans, I've talked to a bunch of, love this. Claudia has about 80% approval. They think she's just great, and they'll take her word on the judiciary reform, so to speak. Okay, don't have time to talk about Canada, another interesting case. Let me just say this. I think it is, so I did some work in energy economics. I wasn't just an Aggie, you know. Did some work in that. And what would be sensible would be actually what Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney wasn't a bad presidential candidate at all in 2012, but he had a wonderful idea for energy, which was to make not the United States at that time. The shale development boom was still fairly at an early stage, but people didn't realize what it would mean, particularly for this country, but other countries too. So Mitt Romney said, okay, North America as a whole, Canada, United States, and Mexico, can be energy independent. I remember some Obama person came through and gave a talk at the Glenn School, and she had doctorates. She had better academic credentials than I did, but her job during the 2012 campaign was to trash this. So I sort of jumped ugly on her a little bit. That was fun, you know, and she was shamed. Well, it was a woman who, our President Johnson, you know, so our previous president, she ended up as our president. It's a good idea. Mexico has a lot of a mountain of undeveloped petroleum resources, gas and oil and so forth. But due to their the nature of their nationalization of the petroleum sector in 1938, there's very little participation. I'm just about done, Jim. Give me 30 seconds. Very limited participation of foreign companies. And that hurts Mexico because the foreign companies have the best technology. Now, even under Claudia Sheinbaum, there's clear signs of the vision that, in a sense, Mitt Romney had, because you know about the AI booms, demand for energy, right? Well, there are huge generating stations being built just south of the border. They actually use US gas because we have the technology, our companies have the technology, they're applying it and so forth, and they're shipping it to Mexico. Just a hint at what could be if we actually got good cooperation. I suppose you'd have to say if we had good cooperation on the lines that say Malay would give us rather than Trump. But that's the vision, and with that, I'll stop. Any questions?
If I could ask just one more question, Doug, you didn't mention Costa Rica. Is there a reason?
Yeah, well, President of Costa Rica has earned a doctorate in my department.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, what about Costa Rica?
Costa Rica is a very middle-class country. It's also an OECD member, as is Colombia. Mexico was the first Latin American nation to join the OECD. But it's doing fine. It has tourism, various things going on. Although, you know, truth be told, it's I'm going to refer to Graham Greene. Anybody remember the novelist Graham Greene? A wonderful novelist, and he had pithy observations. So again, Haiti was a nightmare republic. Graham Greene was a close friend of the longtime Panamanian strongman, a military man named Omar Torrijos. He died in a plane crash. But since he was friends with Torrijos, he didn't like the Costa Ricans, called the Ticos. And so Graham Greene said, well, they call Costa Rica the Switzerland of Central America, which is a slander on Switzerland.
Okay, if any of you have any further questions of Doug on the issue of deforestation, he will talk to you after this meeting.
I'll come back.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, we now have a raffle.
We do, 58 in the weekly, Mr. Best, would you be so kind? Pull only one of these out of here. Fine, so be it, whoever it is.
Last four, 7786.
Oh.
I don't think it's mine.
Oh, I should check mine. 7786?
Yes, that's correct.
Ah. I'm a winner.
Very deserving.
This happened once, I think, 10 years ago.
That looks correct. Here's your 58. If you'll pull for the ace of spades, there is 233.
Last four digits are 7854.
Also not me.
All right.
Who's, anybody claiming this yet?
Mr. Katz,
Oh, Mr. Katz, okay.
You wanna see the ace?
No.
Okay, I do what the president said. This is the one I want.
Well drawn, two of diamonds. Okay, please stand and recite the four-way test with me. Of the things that we think, say and do first. Second. Third. Fourth. We are adjourned. Please remember to turn your badges in. So, Mr. Next President, are you getting yourself geared up for this? Times and tries.
Emotionally, organizationally.
Organizationally.
Emotionally, making better progress. But I don't backslide if I don't get the other one. Yeah, that's the way, that's the delusion. Runners up. Unless there's one.
I'm gonna ask, do you do that? Anything else you noticed on this? Okay. So it's short. Well, this is the place at the installation bank. Yeah. Which is, no one commercial. There's a square. I mean, it's not crazy long, but it takes a while.
Yesterday.
So Darnell, how is it physical therapy that's helping?
Yeah, I think so. I think it helps a lot. You know, it helps losing weight. For me, I think
Just to get ready for surgery, I think. I think I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna have to do surgery, is that
Right, right.
What are they gonna do?
Remove the cyst and fuse it.
Oh, okay.
I mean.
So is it still growing then?
Yeah.
Pretty stable.
There, you know.
Where off? Oh, okay. There's no rhyme or reason.
Right. Summation and the bottom.
Meeting at 2 in here, so I'm trying to hurry up and clean up. Quick turnaround.